If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
That's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James.
Charles.
No, Gail.
Charles.
Gail.
You really can't say that because A, you don't mean that.
I mean that.
What's going on, everybody? Today we have a few topics for the podcast. The first one is Charles Barkley says he wants to punch black people in the face that wear a Trump mugshot t-shirt. We're going to listen to that clip as well as another one. Michelle Obama officially says and ends speculation that she's not joining the presidential race. A lot of Republicans feared that because they thought of her as a strong candidate that they thought would perhaps replace Biden. I'll talk about that. Also, Jon Stewart sucks. He's out here making YouTube videos defending Mayorkas and the border crisis and trying to make it seem like it's not a big deal. And also lying, saying Republicans aren't trying to get it done, as if any border deal that Democrats bring to the table, including $100 billion funding foreign countries, is somehow, turning that down means you don't really want to get it done. What a piece of shit that guy turned out to be. Jon Stewart, I thought he was cool, but just another phony, of course. Kari Lake, just an interesting thing I found about her. I want to talk about this lady on a beach in Bangladesh that just had a bunch of people staring at her. Victoria Nuland is stepping down. A lot of stories, folks. I'm going to get it started right now. Thank you for being here. Give thumbs up if the audio is good. This is, of course, the Dream Rare podcast, and I have a special announcement for one of the people that won my free signed hat after my intro video. Thanks for being here.
It's the Dream Rare podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? I'm standing today, so hopefully I don't shake my desk too much. Thanks for being here. And we're giving away 2 free signed hats. I told everybody the first one, I'm going to announce the second one tomorrow because that's just random. I'm going to pick. But the first one goes to the biggest purchase of last month. I'm not going to say your full name, obviously, but it goes to Rachel, who spent $218.63 on dreamrare.com. Thank you so much. Apparently, I heard through my team that you also made a large purchase last year. So we appreciate the support, Rachel. You're getting the free signed hat. We got you. Look out for an email within the next few days. I'll announce the other one soon. All right. So Charles Barkley, I made an Instagram reel and a TikTok and a whatever the kids are doing these days, Facebook reel, short vertical video about this because I was looking at it last night. And there's a lot of interesting things about it because, first of all, I thought Charles Barkley was one of the better people in entertainment. He always seems to be pretty honest and real, but looks like he's just another corporate suck up. And, I also played a clip of Kanye West, or the artist formerly known as Kanye West. He wants to be called Ye now. Because there was just this long clip about him talking about different people in Diddy. And I'm going to play the clip again because actually Charles Barkley was mentioned in that clip. And when I played it yesterday, I was like, even Charles Barkley? Yay. And then right after I played that clip, I'm just hanging out. I'm on Twitter and I see the clip of Charles Barkley saying he wants to punch black people in the face who wear a Trump mugshot. And I'm like, isn't that crazy that I just played that old Ye clip and he had mentioned Shaq and Charles Barkley in that conversation? So I'm going to play that clip of Charles mixed in with Ye naming Charles Barkley over a year and a half ago as somebody that they can control.
And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. They do shirts.
They can't control you. They can't. They try to suppress you.
When you heard that, what did you think? Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
But that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James.
Charles.
No, Gail.
Charles.
Gail.
You really can't say that because A, you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm going to just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm going to bail myself out and go celebrate.
They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. It's up.
Isn't that crazy? I played that clip of Ye yesterday, him talking about, because the reason I played it yesterday is because everyone's talking about Diddy in the music industry right now, and he mentioned Diddy at the end of that clip. But he literally mentioned Charles Barkley. I played it yesterday, and then 2 hours later, I'm sitting there, and Charles Barkley's like, I want to punch black people in the face who wear a Trump mugshot. And Gail on CNN is like, Charles, don't go there. You're going to get me in trouble. We can't just go out assaulting Trump supporters. You know, we try to pretend like we don't want to do that. And Charles like, I do want to do that, though, Gail. I talk like this. You know, I like Charles Barkley. It sucks. I don't even want to make fun of Chuck the Cuck, but I'm going to call him Chuck the Cuck because it's funny. He's one of my favorite people in like sports announcing. Him and Shaquille O'Neal, very honest, very raw. Like they're definitely a bright spot in the news of sports journalism. But it's just like, dude, why? Like this is where he draws the line. And I posted this on Instagram, and I said, does Charles Barkley really feel this way, or is he just trying to be a good boy for the corporate media? And someone commented, they're like, it's problematic that you called Charles Barkley a good boy. Like, first of all, they think I care about the word problematic. Like I'm at a liberal arts school in Berkeley. Like I have to listen to these people. Like it's problematic that you said this. It's like, dude, I'm not your sophomore liberal arts teacher in San Francisco, bro. Like that, this doesn't work on my Instagram and Facebook page. You know, I'll hear your emotions and opinions, and I, you know, respect you, but I'm not the target audience who like, I'm not on my feet, like on my knees, like kissing people's feet. Like, I'm so sorry for what people did. I apologize for horrible people throughout history, but I'm not the one to like say problem. Oh, it's problematic here. Let me delete my Instagram reel because one person found it problematic out of like 10,000 or 100,000. But with that being said, it's like, here's what I would say. When it comes to Charles Barkley policing the black community, is it more problematic that I called him a good boy or that I'm now calling him Chuck the Cuck? Or is it more problematic that Charles Barkley said absolutely nothing when thousands of black men were forced to get an mRNA injection against their will to play in a basketball league? You know, which one's more problematic? My joke, my name, my word, or the actions of Charles Barkley saying nothing when people like Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins and all these other people didn't want to get vaccinated? And the NBA, there's a multi-billion-dollar machine behind it telling people to go get this mRNA injection. Did Charles Barkley say anything? Did Shaquille O'Neal say anything? Did these people stand like, you know, there's only a few, I'm not going to say only a few athletes I respect, but like Kyrie Irving, love Kyrie Irving, respect Kyrie Irving. Not only is he a great player, he's a real man. Like he didn't want to get it, so he sat out. Do you know how powerful that is? Turning down tens of millions of dollars, like perhaps affecting your legacy. Same with Djokovic in tennis. It's like, you know, perhaps he might not be the best ever. And he's like, I'm not injecting myself with synthetic Pfizer or Moderna mRNA just so you guys can let me play tennis. Like I'm not a slave. I'm not an animal. I'm not a lab rat. And I'm not going to be treated like one. If there were more men like Kyrie Irving and Djokovic, this world would be a better place, but there's not. There's more men like Charles Barkley, who's real when it's not saying that much, but as soon as push comes to shove, he's just a corporate suck up to the pharmaceutical industry and the elites. And then all of a sudden, now he wants to police black people because they're wearing Trump mugshots. Listen, I've been a heavy critic of Donald Trump. I've called him Grandpa Moderna, the vaccine salesman, a sellout, a con artist, you know, not for the same reasons left-wing media calls him that, because he's just a sellout and Republicans haven't figured it out, but the best option, I guess, whatever. I never said I wanted to assault people and only certain people of certain races because they're wearing a Trump mugshot t-shirt. Like that's like insane. It's like, you know, what if Charles Barkley was wearing a Pfizer t-shirt? I could call him Chuck the Cuck, but I wouldn't be like, you should go assault Charles Barkley because he's wearing a Pfizer t-shirt. I would never say that because it's like, that's insane. It's like, let the guy wear whatever clothes he wants. If he wants to wear a fancy suit, if he wants to wear a t-shirt, if he wants to wear a Biden shirt, I still wouldn't advocate on that. So the fact that he's like, you know, I want to punch people in the face for wearing a Trump mugshot t-shirt. Why? First of all, some black people might like Trump and might put it on their t-shirt because they like Trump, which is totally fine. Also, some black people might just think it's funny. It's like, yo, Trump got arrested. His face is kind of like badass. Like he kind of looks like a rap cover. Like you're going to now assault people because what if it's just a joke? Like I might wear like, you know, a Full House t-shirt or something. It's like, I'm partially joking because it's funny, but also it's a good show. I like that show. You know, it's like I wear a Golden Girls t-shirt. Is it a joke? Not really. I like the Golden Girls, but like, it's like a grown man wearing Golden Girls on a t-shirt. You can punch me for it because I'm wearing like a joke t-shirt. Like, you know, if I wore a Trump mugshot t-shirt, like he's not going to assault me because I'm not black? Why does he only want to punch black people in the face? Like, I don't the dynamic of it. It's like he's the gatekeeper of the black community. Like, I want to, do this to people because of the shirt they're wearing. And it's one of those things that it's like, that's where he draws the line. That's like the main problem in the black community is there's just too many people wearing Trump mugshot t-shirts. And unless they're assaulted by Charles Barkley, then there'll be world peace. Then there'll be racial unity. Then the kids will be growing up in nice communities. It's just like, I'm just embarrassed for Charles Barkley. Like, that's the line he's drawing. And he's just on CNN, being a good chill, saying what he thinks the CNN crowd wants to hear. It's just embarrassing. I don't know. It sucks. We can't have anybody like Charles Barkley was probably one of my favorite people in sports media. Now it's like, I don't care about him. I'm not like, I don't hate him or anything. It's just, it's so lame. And it's just so lame to like say you're only going to assault people of your race based on the shirt. Like I don't know. I could talk about this for 30 minutes. It's just, Darren said, babble, babble, babble. Could this guy talk any faster? Darren, like, okay, here, let's break it down before we move to the next story. You don't have to be here. No one's asking. No one cares about you. It's not like you have to be here. You're on Facebook. You could be on TikTok, Instagram. You could be watching Charles Barkley highlight videos when he played on the Suns. You could be watching John Stockton videos. You could be watching a podcast. You could do it, whatever you want. Nobody wants you to be here. Nobody cares if you're here or not. You don't matter to this community that much. I mean, unless maybe you're really popular and I don't know. And everyone's like, oh, Darren, please don't leave. Probably not going to happen. I talk fast because it's like my shows are 2 hours long. So it's like if you watch for the first 20, 30 minutes, I'm trying to jam pack it with 5 stories, not just bore you in circles for 15 minutes about nothing. And also, it's not slow. I don't know. I'm a fast-paced guy. If you're a slow guy, you know what I'm saying? Make a country song and try to make a smash hit, but you probably don't have that talent. So it's like no one cares. Like blabble, blabble, blabble. I mean, does he talk any faster? And then I start talking slow and people are like, oh, can you speed it up a little bit? It's like, dude, go watch like Steph Curry 3-point highlights or something. And, you could put it on 0.5 to make it extra slow for you. Maybe you can rewind your sports games and slow them down. You're like, oh, that running back runs too fast. I mean, why doesn't he go as slow as me? It's like, I don't know, bro, because I'm speeding through this so I could get on with my day. Do you mind? I got errands to run, bro. I'm a real boy. Long story short, Charles Barkley, another disappointment, wants to assault only people of his race for wearing a Trump mugshot t-shirt. It's just like mind-bogglingly embarrassing and corny and cringe, and him just sucking up to CNN. Loser, you said nothing during the Pfizer experiment. Loser, you had nothing to say. You weren't backing up athletes who are trying to reject pharmaceutical tyranny. Loser, Charles Barkley said nothing during the lockdowns. Was he out here saying open the country up? Loser, it's like, oh, he doesn't care that black people can't leave their backyard in Queens because they're being locked in their house by their government. They have no job, and now they're being essentially forced onto welfare like the whole country with the COVID commie checks. No, Charles Barkley doesn't want to say anything about that. But God forbid I move too fast on my live stream. Darren or Daryl on Facebook is going to cry about it. God bless Charles Barkley and God bless the guy with the D name. I'm over these people. They always act like activists at the dumbest times. Like, the number one threat to the black community is black people who wear funny Trump mugshot t-shirts. Like, even I, as a prolific Trump hater, I'm just kidding, but as somebody that knows that Trump's a phony or is embarrassed by his leadership to some extent, even though he's better than Biden, I don't even like that. That's even like beyond me. But that's why I don't get CNN sit downs with Gayle King. They'd never let me on that show. So, you got to play that game to get there, which I'm not interested in. So let me know what you guys think. Everybody, your opinion matters except for Daryl or Darren. Your opinion absolutely does not matter. But everybody else's, I value and respect you. Anyway, second story. Michelle Obama, everybody's favorite Democrat, has announced she will not be running for president in 2024. This will make Republicans really happy because they were really nervous that she was going to run. Why? Because the Democratic Party is very cringe, and Michelle Obama is actually pretty popular. She sells a lot of books. People look up to her or something. I don't know what the kids are doing nowadays, but clearly she's better than Joe Biden. And now that she's not running, Republicans can breathe a sigh of relief because Biden is a very weak candidate. It's probably better if he stays there, even though he's like 1,000 years old, or fact check 81. I've said if people watch my show consistently, I've said probably 5 or 6 times throughout the last year, Michelle Obama's not going to run. That's a rumor. It doesn't make sense. I don't see it. Obviously, I can't say with 100% certainty because when you're speculating on things that could happen, it's not like I know for sure. So I try to be honest about it. But everybody knows that's watched my show a lot that I've been one of the people that has said that doesn't make any sense to me. I think people are just fantasizing about who they don't want to run because they're nervous of it. I don't think Michelle Obama wants the smoke. Like, she's rich, she's famous, she's pretty well loved, I would say. Like, maybe definitely not amongst Republicans, but amongst Democrats, nobody dislikes Michelle Obama. Why would she want to run? Why would she want to go through the scrutiny? Half the country, essentially, or like tens of millions of people, think she's a tranny. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, if you go to Republican comment sections, everybody's like, it's a he, it's a he, it's a he. It's like, so why would Michelle Obama want to run for office and be under speculation? People are diving, looking for her pregnancy, pictures. They can't find it. It's like, I just never got why people were saying that she was going to run. It's like, I don't think she wants to stand in the spotlight. And it's like, conservatives, I'm running for president here, dive through me even more than you already are, scrutinize my entire life and try to say I'm not the gender that I say I am. I just never saw that as like a viable option, like that Michelle Obama would want to go through that. Like, what's the point of all that? That seems like a road I would not want to go down if I were Michelle Obama. So someone said, I hate when people call her a man. See, this is what happens when you talk about Michelle Obama. Some people say, I hate when people call her a man. And then the other 70% are like, it's a man. It's like, I don't think that's appealing to Michelle to like have to face that, whether you believe it or not. It's not really my place to speculate on that. But as far as like, the running for office, I don't think it was ever in the cards. And, I don't like to talk about things I can't. I don't like to like say things I can't prove or I don't know. So I don't really talk about that because there's people in the comment section that swear that I'm a woman. Like, they're like, you're a transgender. And it kind of, you get in this rabbit hole where like, someone will say this person's a transgender and I'll be like, no, they're not. And then I'll look at their picture a few times and I'll be like, I don't know what's going on. Like, the industry's weird for sure. So it's like, I don't want to speculate because people do it to me. But at the same time, like, if you gave me a list of 50 celebrities and we're like, pick 3 that you think are trannies, everybody's got a list. So I don't want to get into mine. I just said to stay on topic that I didn't think Michelle Obama was going to run for office because I don't think she wants to face that scrutiny and that type of attention. And every Republican influencer is like, Michelle Obama is going to run. And I don't know why I'm making every Republican influencer sound like that. That's very ignorant of me. I apologize. Michelle Obama is going to run. I'm like, why would Michelle Obama run? It doesn't even make sense. If anything, it's probably going to be Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden or the lady who definitely didn't sexualize her way to the top. What's the vice president's name? I forget. Kamala Harris. Yeah, she definitely didn't. Or wait, she did do that. Wait, with the mayor, what's his name? Willie Brown, but she deserved it. She earned it. I don't know. It's not, I don't make the rules. I did see a funny video on Twitter though, to get myself in more trouble. It was like MSNBC asked some guy in North Carolina, like, if he considered voting for Nikki Haley. And this guy goes, she don't even have balls to scratch. What, she's going to scratch her head? And then the host is like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I'm not voting for a woman. He's like, the women are not, it's not that they can't do it, but they need Trump's guidance. And I was like, legend alert. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. I was like, dude, that's just top tier comedy. I don't know if he was joking or not, but either way, I enjoyed it quite thoroughly. I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, with that being said, I don't think Michelle Obama's ever going to run for office. I just believe that was a rumor made up by people that were nervous that Michelle Obama would be better than Biden. All right. Speaking of enter transition phrase here, Jon Stewart sucks again. Jon Stewart has his show back, and he immediately just starts unpacking the GOP's migrant crime narrative. He's making fun of Trump and Dr. Phil for talking about migrant crime narratives because it's just totally not true, according to Jon Stewart. You know, Jon Stewart's another one where I used to think he was like somewhat legit. I watched the episode, and he's basically just trying to downplay and cover up for the Democrats and Mayorkas. And, you know, it's very sneaky. It's very subversive, and sneaky subversive Stewart. You know, it's unfortunate. I thought he was different, but apparently he's not. But I'm sure that hate speech to even call him sneaky, because he's not allowed to be sneaky, even though he is or something. But it's like he made the point where he just made fun of Trump and Dr. Phil in this little intro. And then he kind of says, well, you know, it is unsustainable how many people are coming across the border, but Republicans don't even want to fix it because they didn't sign the border bill that the union, you know, co-signed. And it's like, first of all, who is the Border Patrol union? I'm not saying all unions are bad, but just because someone has a union doesn't mean they're really part of it. But am I a communist? Now, Darren, stop ruining the show, bro. You should have left 20 minutes ago. Blabber, blabber, blabber. Why are you blabbering so much, Anomaly? And it's like, Darren, go away. And you're like, I'm still here. Are you a communist? No, but Trump is. He printed $5 trillion. Biden probably is. They both are, but you can't figure it out. So you got to just ruin my show. Bro, go watch something else. Go watch like Maria Bartiromo or something. Go, you know, she'll be like, wah, 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 wah. And you're like, that's better. That's what I want to hear. That we're fighting the commies with Maria Bartiromo. Yeah, whatever you got to tell yourself, Darren. Yeah, you're really crushing the commies with the Fox. Yeah, for sure, bro. Anyway, so with the Jon Stewart thing, he tried to say that Republicans don't want to close the border because they didn't sign the border bill. And it's like, what was the border bill? It's like, was the border bill to give $60 to $70 billion to Ukraine and $20 billion or $10 billion to Israel? It's like, was that the border bill that Republicans shut down because they didn't want to fund Ukraine? And then they countered with just an Israel bill. Dude, it's so funny how crazy American politics is. It's like Democrats come to you. This country is so sneaky. They come to you with like $100 billion bill, and they're like, oh, you want a border funding for a couple $1 billion? In order to get the border funded, you need to give $16 to $20 billion to Israel, and you need to give like $70 billion to Ukraine. If you want a border in your country, you have to give 10 times as much money to other countries. And you're like, that doesn't seem fair. So then it shuts down, and then subversive sneaky Stewart comes on his little sneaky show, and he says, oh, Republicans don't want to fund the border because they don't want to give Israel and Ukraine money. And it's like, shut up, sneaky Stewart. Like, you're like, that's not true. Like, why do we have to give $100 billion to foreign countries in order to fund our border? That's not a real deal. It's like, you're basically like holding our country for ransom and being like, we have to fleece you dry if you want a border. And it's like, no, I don't want to be fleeced dry. And they're like, oh, I guess you don't want a border then. It's like, that's what they're doing. And then you have, what's the loser Republican guy's name? Like Mike Johnson or whatever. Benny Johnson's like, he's based because he has a wife. It's like, okay, so does like Ralph Nader probably. Like, is he based too because he has a wife? Anyway, then the GOP guy, he comes out and he says, actually, forget the border and forget Ukraine. We don't want to fund Ukraine, but we got to give money to Israel right now. We got to give money to Israel right now. And then we got to pass more speech laws and then say it's anti-Semitic to say that we're doing it. And then we're going to hate you if you ever point out the obvious truth. Oh my gosh, yeah, we need more speech laws, but we don't need speech laws. And it's like, that's what we get. Either we give $100 billion to foreign countries, or the GOP leader who totally doesn't work for a foreign country, so much so that they all have to pass speech laws to prevent you from saying that anybody controls them, because it can't be true if they're passing speech laws about it. He comes and is like, forget the border. We just want to give money to Israel. And it's like, what? And then if you don't sign either of those bill, if you don't sign the first one that gives like $50-60 billion to Ukraine or however much, they call you a pro-Putin sympathizer. They say you don't want a border. And then if you don't sign the give money to Israel bill, they call you anti-Semitic and they say that you're Hamas and you hate everybody. And it's like, that's the country we live in. And then Jon Stewart makes videos about it and says, oh, the GOP doesn't want the border. Someone said America first with a super chat. Thank you. He also said, well, I don't want to read that. You're going to get me in trouble, but it's a super chat. He's not a fan of Israel. He says America first. You have to understand, in the United States of America, your allegiance to a foreign country is more important than allegiance to your country. And you get canceled, censored, shut down, and smeared by the press if you want your own country to be prioritized first. But thank you for the super chat. Anyway, with that being said, yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like Jon Stewart came back in the 2020 election just to help Joe Biden and help Democrats and just subvert our country and, work with or indirectly work with people like Mayorkas to cover up the massive error they're doing and try to pin it on Republicans. I don't even like Republicans, but the Democrat in America is destroying the country through the border. And sneaky subversive Jon Stewart has to pop back up out of nowhere after he retired for 10 years to defend them. But you can't talk about it because it's hate speech to notice what's going on. Because if you notice what's going on, it's your fault for knowing. And of course, the GOP is not going to help you because they're just going to keep passing speech laws and funding foreign countries. And that's what the next story is about. Kari Lake, that is a darling of right-wing media. Never cared about her. She's just a Trump butt sniffer. She just sucks up to Trump. She has no ideas of her own. She just yells things like a GOP like woman that watches Fox News. And here's, who she really is. She's smearing her opponent for not funding foreign countries because that's what all Republicans do. Trump, Kari Lake, everybody except for Thomas Massie, they exist to just lie to you and pretend like they're fighting Democrats when they're really working with the Uniparty. So read her tweet, and this is all you need to know. Then we'll move on because I don't want to talk about it that much. Kari Lake responded. It says, Rep. Ruben Gallego sided with White House in calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Kari Lake responds. She says, Ruben Gallego voted against the Iron Dome funding in the Iran deal. He refused to condemn anti-Semitism at Harvard, Arizona State, and in Congress. He cannot be trusted to stand with Israel. Gallego is beholden to the far-left pro-Hamas terrorist sympathizers. I mean, how did he not vote to give more money to Israel? I mean, we're only $34 trillion in debt. We don't have money to do anything in this country. We can't even build a border. But how dare an American politician not just funnel more money to a foreign country that could easily take out loans themselves instead of using our loans to pay off their own stuff when we're $34 trillion in debt? This is who the Republican Party is. They exist to just extract your money, send it to a foreign country, call you anti-Semitic if you disagree, and then pass speech laws that say that it's anti-Semitic to say that Jon Stewart works in media, because now, according to the anti-Semitism laws, if you say that Jon Stewart's ethnicity has any power in banking and media, it's your fault for noticing or even speaking about it, because it's so not true that they need to pass laws on legal legislation in states that Glenn Youngkin runs, in Georgia, which Brian Kemp runs, in Florida. Ron DeSantis is the biggest shill of them all. Donald Trump, executive order. They all just exist to sell out your First Amendment and then make it illegal to say that they're doing it. It's like, let's pass a law because we're getting money from donors, and then we're going to get right-wing and left-wing press to smear anybody that talks about it and call them anti-Semitic, while we redefine anti-Semitism by law and basically make it hate speech by law to say that anybody controls banks and media or even speculating or saying anything. It would be like if they passed a George Floyd crime law and you lived in a town that had 70, 80% crime of one demographic, and then you said, is the violent crime a majority this group? And they're like, well, technically now that's hate speech to say, because we passed legislation through the George Floyd Act to say that if you say that, that's actually, anti-racism hate speech, even though statistically it's obviously true, but the truth doesn't matter anymore because that's who the Republican Party is. Today is the election in my state. I don't even know if I'm going to vote. Do I want Republicans to win locally? Of course. They're better. But I despise the Republican Party. They're the ultimate sellouts. They're the ultimate con artists. Kari Lake sucks. Donald Trump sucks. And all these other podcasters, they just exist to get advertising money from the companies that are fake enough to just realize that there's more money to be made on the right now. And I don't even care about it anymore. I have a few other things I want to talk about, but it's like that's who the Republican Party is. They're the ultimate controlled opposition. They're there to pass speech laws that one day, who knows, it might be illegal to criticize George Soros. It might be illegal to say Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook, which he does. It's like, that's what these laws are doing. Read them, and that's what they're doing in law. Kari Lake, it's like, I'm not trying to be rude because I barely talk about this anymore. I never tweet about it. I don't even engage in arguments. It's like I basically treat people that obsess over Kari Lake and Donald Trump like liberals. I just ignore them completely and live in my own reality because there's no sense in arguing with someone that's that brainwashed. It's like if you look up to Trump and Mike Lindell and Kari Lake, to me, you're as crazy as like a left-wing activist wearing a face mask, diaper on their face, like running around telling people that the breathing air is unhealthy. It's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like I'm so over this whole thing that I rarely even bring up certain things because I don't feel like arguing with people that actually think Kari Lake matters or that Donald Trump's going to save them. They're literally just like passing laws. And if you ever are like Thomas Massie, where he's like, listen, the reason Thomas Massie explains it perfectly. He's the only good person in Congress. He says, I don't believe in foreign aid because every time you send money to a foreign country, that's losing value for the American taxpayer. It's bad for America. Also, we don't have money. We're $34 trillion in debt. How do we have money to send to Israel or Palestine or Ukraine or anyone? Like, how do we have any money when we're in debt? You know, people are not thriving in America like they used to. Crime is on the rise. The border's open. I could list 15 problems. The whole country's going backwards. We're getting absolutely shit on by countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia, where they're using their money to make their country better. We're just sending our money overseas and letting our country fall apart. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense to keep just giving everyone money all the time. But what you realize in America is you're run by people that want to just extract your wealth, and they'll just call you names if they can't do it. And it's both parties, and it spans multiple groups. I'm not blaming anyone specifically, but it's just like, that's what's going on. So, you know, the Republicans are controlled opposition. It's like, all you have to do, and then I'm going to move on because I could rant about this for hours. All you have to do is look at the border bill and look at the response. And that's all you need to know about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party says we need to send tens of billions of dollars to Ukraine and tens of billions of dollars to Israel. And if you do that, you can get your border. And if not, we're going to say you don't want a border. And then the Republican Party says we don't want to give the money to Ukraine. We want the border, but it's not as important as Israel. So we're going to give our money to Israel before we even do a border deal, because we know that Congress won't do a border deal, but they will give the money to Israel. What does it say about Congress that they'll only come together to give money to foreign countries, whether it's Ukraine or Israel, but they won't come together to fix their own border? It means that our Congress doesn't care about us. We're not their top priority. That's why Republicans are passing speech laws to try to make it illegal for American citizens to say that it's even happening, which is why they're the ultimate con artist and the ultimate sellout. Just like Donald Trump, when he ran around acting like Bill Gates Jr. selling vaccines, and so did DeSantis, and so did Sarah Huckabee Sanders. They're professional wrestlers at this point. They're just playing the role of somebody who would care about you, but none of them do. And it's really embarrassing. And, you know, it is what it is. But hopefully it changes. It's only going to change when people realize that it's happening. As long as people keep playing along to the false paradigm, they have no incentive to stop doing it. So I hope that people do wake up to that reality. But the brainwashing and programming is extremely deep. Left, right, colors, parties, you know, religious talking points that they've heard through, you know, I would say perverted Bibles with footnotes that don't even make sense and don't reflect what the Bible actually says. The programming goes extremely deep on these topics. But anyway, and a lot of the churches are compromised. It's like you go into church and they're like, we need to give money to Sudan and Israel and Ukraine and Palestine. Like, it's like, bro, what about down the street? There's crackheads 5 blocks from this church. Like, I'm not saying that it's nice to give money to other countries in Africa and all this stuff. I'm all for it, but it's like, they're like literally this county's falling apart. This state's falling apart. Like, you know, can we like convert these crackheads to Christianity before we go to like Sudan and Nigeria? Or no, that's not an option. I don't know. Maybe I'm being rude, but it's just like every time you go to church now, they want to send money to Ukraine. There's like, the Lord wants the money to Ukraine. It's like, can the Lord, I don't know. That's not the message I got. The Lord told me that like America is a degenerate country now, and maybe he wants to fix America. I don't know. I'm not going to act like I'm getting direct messages from God, but I don't think he told the pastor that. I think the pastor's probably compromised, but whatever. Here's a lighter story. I got more energy when I stand up too. If Darren's still here wondering why I'm going so fast, I'm not sitting, I'm standing. So I feel like a karate, you know what I'm saying? I could jump kick the camera if I wanted to. I might do it at the end. People are like, oh, you keep complaining about doing your show. It's like, what if I just jump kick my own camera live on stream? And then immediately after went to Amazon. I was like, I got to get a new one of those. Sorry. Anyway, here's some white chick in Bangladesh. I just thought this video was kind of like interesting and funny, although it's kind of not funny. It's kind of creepy. But she's like tanning on a beach in Bangladesh, and there's just like 100 men standing over her, just like staring at her like a piece of meat. Here's the video.
I'm at the beach and I want to show you guys the beautiful view.
So I guess like she's in Bangladesh, and someone said, dude, they're distracting you. You're distracting me. I wasn't even reading comments, but yeah, apparently she's just like tanning on the beach, and she's like, here's my cool view in Bangladesh. And there's a bunch of dudes just like looking at her. Like it looked like there were at least 20, 30 guys just like standing 10 feet from her and like staring at her. I've never been to India or Bangladesh or any of these countries, so I don't know what it's like, and I'm not trying to give it a bad reputation. But I feel like, and I don't even know what ethnicity or what political group this girl is to. I just seen the video, but I always wonder, like, say it's like a liberal chick and they're always like, oh, white guys are so bad and America sucks and Europe sucks and meh. And then they go to Bangladesh and then there's like 100 dudes just standing over them, like staring at them like they're a piece of meat. It's like maybe Europe and America aren't so bad. Like maybe the guys that you think are toxic in America on a world scale are not as bad as you think they are, because toxic in Bangladesh and India, it has a whole different meaning. Like they're not complaining about microaggressions on social media, because there's way bigger problems than just like your opinions about like a tweet, like it's better to have a guy tweet something weird at you than like 100 guys just stare at you like they want to bang you, like just right over your body, like you're like an animal or something. Like that's kind of crazy. Like, am I mad at that? I don't know the customs there. It's not my culture, but like, I feel like it is like a rude awakening for that chick. Like, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, well, everywhere is not like where you're from. So, definitely bring some perspective to dude, this Darren guy is so annoying. Slow down. You're starting to pick up speed here. Talk slower. Are you like damaged by pharmaceutical pills or something, bro, where you need everything like real slow? Maybe you should go to like a program or something, get help or something. Like, you've been here for 30 minutes. Can you go slower, bro. If it's so fast for you, wait till it's over and watch it on 0.5 speed. And then, Darren, it'll sound like this for people like you. It's just like so weird. Like, go watch a slow show. There's a lot of slow people that like, they take 15 minutes to say one thing. They're like, is my mic on? Darren's like, this is better. Yeah, dude, you're so annoying. It's fine. It's just like the whole show doesn't need to revolve around you. You don't believe in freedom of speech, dude. You were like you're so annoying, dude. It's crazy. Oh, you don't believe in freedom of speech, huh? If you won't slow a show of 600 people watching just for me, you don't believe in my freedom to dictate what you do and how fast you go. I mean, oh my gosh. I don't know why I made you sound like Howard Stern, but it was just funnier that way. Really? Don't like people speaking in a public forum? Oh, this is annoying? Bro, you're so annoying. I'm sure this is not the first time someone's told you you're annoying. Let's be honest. Daniel said, yeah, I don't understand the whole focus on Israel. Plus, it's not like the Jews have a view on Jesus or Christianity. #Talmud. Well, thank you for the super chat. Hold on. I got to like reread that. I don't understand the whole focus on Israel. Okay. And then you're saying what their view on Jesus and Christianity. I mean, here's the thing. I like to keep it simple, at least for the first part. Then we could go into it. America's $34 trillion in debt. Nothing in this country works. So just off the face of it, giving the other country at this point, when like it's kind of like abusive, because like we can't even get a border, but they want to give the money to other countries. It's really messed up. So every American, it doesn't matter what your stance on Israel is, that doesn't make sense. We got to fix our own country and we're in debt. It doesn't make sense to go in more debt to give other countries money that they could go into debt themselves for. That's the first thing. The second thing is like, I think what you were referring to is probably how a lot of Christian Republicans are like super Zionist and they're like obsessed with Israel. And here's the thing. Someone said, sorry for my spelling. I'm kind of slow. It's okay, Daniel. I appreciate it. At least you're not like the other guy yelling at me to go slower. I appreciate you. But no, I get what you're saying. Thank you for the $20 super chat to explain that. Though. I'll take it. I hope you keep messing up. If you give $20 every time you mess up, I'll be rich by the end of the stream. But I feel like it's okay to love Israel. Are you annoying me, Darren? Yeah, absolutely. You are super annoying, but the other guy, not so much. It's okay to like love a country and love people, but like you wouldn't like, there's certain things where they're programmed to be like, we can't at all ever criticize or have an opinion about this country that's not like upset. Like, are they your God? Does the Bible say to treat other human beings like gods? Like, it doesn't say that. That's insane, especially like considering some of the story. But in general, it's like there's certain op-eds that are being written in the Wall Street Journal where conservatives in Israel are saying that we should be taking refugees from the Palestine war. Like actual government officials that are conservatives are writing op-eds in American newspapers saying America should be taking these refugees in Europe. They take other refugees. Why can't they take the Palestinians? So this is the type of stuff where most Republicans, they follow like Daily Wire type things. If you're not watching Candace Owens, you're not hearing anything. And they're like, oh, we love that government. Like, okay, you criticize Republicans. You don't even like every Republican. So it's like insane as an American to be like, I don't like 90% of the Republican Party. I like Trump. I don't like the Democratic Party. But when it comes to this foreign country, I have no analysis of it whatsoever. They're all amazing. And anybody who says otherwise, it's hate speech. Like, it doesn't make any sense, especially when they're writing op-eds telling us to take their refugees. And what's even crazier about that is when you look at what they're saying, they'll be saying these refugees are terrorists. They're all terrorists. Even the kids, they're all Hamas. They're all murderers. They're all rapists. They're all terrorists. Okay. So, and then you want to give them to America and Europe? Why would America and Europe want these horrible people that you say are so horrible you want to kill them? Like, that's our allies. Our allies are like, these people suck. They're all terrorist sympathizers. We don't want them in our country. Egypt doesn't want them. You take them. And it's like, but didn't you just say they were terrorists? And it's like, yeah. So you want us to take terrorists in? Well, they're not like that. It's like, well, what's the truth then? Like, why would we be taking in all these people that you don't want and no one wants? Like, why would America and Europe take them in? So it's like, that's the type of stuff I think that is frustrating smart conservatives that aren't totally brainwashed. I'm not asking people to hate anybody. It's just like, if you look at this on face value, it doesn't make any sense. And also, yeah, I mean, it's like, I would say this, because it's like religiously, personally, I don't disrespect anybody, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist. Like, I don't have to agree with you, but I'm not going to disrespect like anybody. Like, if you're a good person, I appreciate you. If you're trustworthy, I appreciate that. There's great people, in my opinion, of every race, religion, and all 10 million genders. With that being said, you have to like, people will say, well, I can't ever think bad about that because the Bible says that. It's like, does it really say that though? Like, I use the example with George Washington. Like, people will say, George Washington, he was British, right? Technically, George Washington was British, but being an American is what made him George Washington as you know him. He rejected Britain. He rejected their wicked rule and created America. So it's like, yes, he was British, but his entire legacy is rebelling against the elites there. It's the same with Jesus. Jesus was Jewish, but he was rebelling against the rule at the time. So nowhere in the Bible does it say that you have to like worship an entire country that doesn't even believe in Jesus. And I'm not saying you have to hate them or anything. It's just like, you're stupid. Like, Christian Zionist bootlickers, it's just like astronomically, like, the propaganda is so huge where it's like, I'm not asking you to hate. I'm not asking you to not like the country or not support them, but it's like, are you like a slave or something? Like, you don't even have a brain anymore. It's like, you can criticize a pastor, you can criticize the Pope, you can criticize the Republican Party, but when it comes to this country, you're on your knees. You have to just throw your money at them and call everything hate speech. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. But the brainwashing in Republican media and a lot of churches is so astronomically deep that a lot of people haven't ever thought of this. And it's like, it's hard to talk about because even if you briefly mention it, the press goes insane at you and they try to smear you for the rest of your life. Like they're nuts over this topic. So it's like most people, they act stupid because acting stupid gets you money in Republican circles. Acting stupid gets you a political job. And being honest about this gets you nothing. You know what I'm saying? It only hurts your career in every facet of the way because that's who the Republican Party is. So it's like, I'm not asking people to hate a country or wish bad on them at all. But it's like, why would you go in more debt to give another country money? And then the top ilk in that country are trying to send their refugees to your country, and they're writing op-eds telling you to take the refugees. And it's like, why would we take the refugees? It's like, well, we don't want them. It's like, we have 1 million people coming across the border. Like there's crackheads on the street in every major city. Like we don't have a functional country to take in hundreds of thousands of people, especially if they are who you say they are. You're telling me that all of these people, like tens of thousands of civilians have been killed. Tens of thousands of children have been killed in Palestine. And they're telling us it's okay to kill them because they're connected to Hamas. If they're connected to Hamas, why are you writing op-eds to tell America to take all these people in as refugees? If that's true, why the hell would you flood Europe and America with these people? But, you know, and then like Christian Republicans are like, this is a great ally. And it's like, I guess, yeah, I mean, you know, it seems like we're getting the raw end of the deal as they're passing speech laws in our country, or Republicans are. Totally not for their donors, though. You can't say that, even though it's true. It's like, you know, that's why Republicans are just as dumb as liberals. They're just like a different version of dumb, and they don't realize they're dumb, just like Democrats don't realize they're dumb. And now I have to watch videos of AOC getting harassed at a movie theater because she didn't condemn the genocide enough by some loser liberal wearing a face mask. And it's like, pick a side. Do you want to be with this person or this person? It's like, I don't want to be with any of these people. Like, just because I have this opinion doesn't mean I'm going to go to a freaking left-wing Palestine protest wearing a diaper on my face, yelling at AOC, like, because she didn't say enough. And then you got right-wingers saying she's saying too much. It's like, it's the whole thing is a total mess. It's just like, it's crazy, but for sure, like, you know, I like as a Christian, I want to help other people, but it's like I also want to help our own country. And I don't see the correlation of like how going into debt and spreading sodomy all over the world and like dropping bombs on innocent people. Like, I don't get how that's biblical or whatever, but to each their own. Daniel said, yes, plus they reject Jesus. It's anti-Semitic, so it's weird. When you call it out, they call you a Nazi, said Daniel. For sure. I mean, I hear what you're saying, my guy. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, I mean, I'm not the police of who people believe in, but it makes no sense for Republicans in America to want to drop bombs on kids and say that they're terrorists and then support a regime that wants to bring those terrorists to your country. Because it all just doesn't really make sense. But I hear what you're saying. Darren said, so why do you reject anyone, bro? Why do you reject anyone who doesn't agree with you? You're the only annoying person here. There's 589 people here. I've rejected no one that's disagreed with me. You're just really annoying, bro. And like, you're that annoying guy that's like, oh, it's everybody. It's like, no, it's literally just you. Like, let's stop kidding. Someone said it makes sense for Israel and that's all they care about. I mean, that's what it seems to be. It seems to be like our country is like Theo Vaughn was like, is our country like a shell company or something? And it's like, it feels that way. Like our country just exists for politicians to extract wealth, give it to themselves, give it to their families, give it to Ukraine, give it to other countries, and then call you racist, sexist, xenophobic, pro-Putin, anti-Semitic if you don't want to do it. And there's no, like, the deal, it's no clearer than like, we give $100 billion to foreign countries and then you get your border, or you don't give your border and we just give $16 billion to Israel. That's all you need to know. That's Congress. Like, we're getting the raw end of every deal with every foreign country, and both parties are in on it. Trump's in on it. DeSantis is in on it. They're all in on it. But Republicans don't want to face that, and Democrats don't want to face that. You know, that's the problem, is like both parties are too stubborn to like realize their own flaws. So it just becomes this stupid battle. And then you got to realize, like, it's not everyone else's fault. That's the difference between me. Like, I don't think I'm a victim. I don't think Americans are victims. I don't think conservatives are victims. I don't think Christians are victims. Like, this is what happens when you're really stupid. Like, there's always going to be someone that tries to take advantage of you in the world. Like, every country cares about themselves. Like, China's trying to do the best for China. Russia's trying to do the best for Russia. Israel's trying to do the best for Israel. That's why they're like, here, you take the refugees. But American politicians are not doing what's best for America. And that includes Trump and DeSantis. They're America second. And then Democrats are like America last. We don't have any real politicians that care about America. Ron Paul was the last good one. And Thomas Massey's the only good one now. Kari Lake's a phony. Matt Gaetz is a phony. Donald Trump's a phony. DeSantis is a phony. Nikki Haley's a phony. Nikki Haley's the obvious phony that the other phonies look at, so you don't realize how phony they are. And the cycle continues. But we don't have a government like these countries have. In Israel, they have a rule, or they had a rule for a long time. I know the article's a couple of years old, so I don't know if it's changed. But for most of their existence, if not still now, if you serve in their government, you're not allowed to have dual passports to another country. If you're an American Israeli, they make you get rid of your American passport and just serve Israel. In America, not only is that not true, but it's the opposite. Not only can you have two passports, but they're passing speech laws to make it illegal to call it out when someone does have dual citizenship. That's considered anti-Semitic now, according to the rules. So it's like, other countries have rules to protect their country. America has rules to protect other countries. That's the truth. And Republicans are knee deep in on it. And in some cases, they're even worse. They're passing more laws to stop you from even saying it. They're the ultimate sellout. They're the ultimate con artist. And the problem is, conservatives are obsessed with it. Like, it's like, it's just like they don't care and they don't want to know. And they get mad when you tell them because they just want to live in their little fantasy land. And it makes me, like, I look at people like that and it's the same as me looking at like a fat Democrat that's wearing like a mask on their face and they're like, "Ooh, free Palestine." It's like, can you get the mask off your face and yell free Palestine? You know what I'm saying? When you got a diaper on your face and you're yelling at AOC and you're yelling at politicians, you look like a clown. Like, it's hard to like respect you because you're like, you don't even respect yourself enough to like show your face. Like, they've made you hate yourself to the point where you can't even like look straight. Who cares what you're saying? I don't care if you're saying free Israel, free Palestine, free Russia, free Ukraine. I don't even care if you're saying abolish income tax. Get the diaper off your face. I don't want to be seen with you. It's embarrassing, and you should be embarrassed. So it's like, I look at those people the same way I look at Republicans now, where it's like, they mean well, I guess, or something, but they don't get it, Let me see if someone say, "Wow, you're hilarious." Well, I'm glad somebody thinks I'm funny. I thought so, but appreciate y'all. Thank you. Someone said conservative ideals are still there, but our leaders are goblins. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, if your ideals are ideal, but you can't figure out what's going on, then it doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't know why people can't figure it out, but they're like, they just want to like believe, they like, I believe in Trump. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, he just passed an executive order to basically say that it's hate speech to say that someone with two passports has loyalty to another country, when in the other country, they're not allowed to have two passports. It's like, yeah, Trump's my guy. It's like, that's why the country is falling apart. Like, he's better than Biden, but I don't know. It's like, if the best you can do is someone who infringes on the first two amendments, prints more money than Obama, and runs around and sells vaccines like Bill Gates, I don't know. I don't need a crystal ball to figure out that your movement's probably going to fail. Like, that's what Donald Trump did. He infringed on the First Amendment, infringed on the Second Amendment, locked the country down, ran around selling vaccines like Bill Gates Jr. and printed $5 trillion. Like, that's your hero? I mean, it's like almost as embarrassing as thinking Joe Biden's your hero, but whatever. Someone said, I'm just hoping for a leader who knows what the word means. It's going to be at least 4 years. It's not Trump and it's not Biden. So I don't know. I'm being patient now. I'm not like, I saw this guy that I follow. I'm trying to think of his full name. Darn it. I don't want to mess up his name, but I think it's Daniel Zek. He was arguing with like Trump supporters on Twitter, and it reminded me of me like a year ago. Just like, not that he says other cool stuff, but it's like you just can't argue with these people. Like, it's just going to go in circles, and then they never get it. So you just got to be patient and like ignore them almost. Let me see. Someone said we should encourage more people to pray for Jesus. That's nice, David. Let's see. Our political system doesn't work for us. Definitely not. But people got to figure out why. I'm risking a lot to tell you this stuff, because the more I talk about this stuff, the harder my life gets. I mean, not really, I'm fine, but it's just like, this is not fun for me to talk about because the consequences are so high. With that being said, like, Democrats want to send all your money to Ukraine and Israel in order to get a border, and Republicans just want to fund Israel and not even do the border or Ukraine. If that doesn't tell you what's going on, you're not smart enough to get results. Dumb people don't, like, you can't go to a dumb country that's run by dumb people with dumb people there and be like, oh, why isn't it utopia? Because everyone's really stupid there. There's always been like societies that function and then societies that shoot each other with bow and arrows. And I'm not saying it's bad or like primitive, but you get what I'm saying. It's just like, it's obvious what's going on. If you're buying so knee deep into like the Trump Kari Lake story, you're too dumb to get good results. So like, you're just constantly going to be disappointed and confused, and like listening to Mike Lindell, it's not going to work. So like, if that's what people want to do now, then I guess I just got to wait like 5 years until the country screws up more, and then maybe people will figure it out. I don't know. We'll see. Someone said something's in the water. Could be. I don't think it's just that. I think it's like technology. It's making people smarter and dumber at the same time. Like, smarter, like they know a lot; dumber, like they can't function because they're staring at a screen. I don't know. It's affecting all of us, so I don't want to laugh too hard at it. But someone said, what happened to the don't overfill the hospital if it only saves one life? Well, they lied about all that stuff, but I mean, that's a good example. I think the COVID is like a good example of like when you have a blueprint and it's like how many people followed. Like 80% of the country got a vaccine. 80%. 50% of the country votes for Trump, but 80% got the vaccine. That means 30%. That's over half. The majority of the Republican Party got the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Like that, this is like a stress test of like, can you say no? These people can't say no. Like, I'm trying to be nice about it because I'm not acting like I'm a perfect person. But when people pretend like, oh, I want to be like a conservative trad wife, they think of like churning butter. They think of like traditional values, and they think of like that type of trad life. And that's a great life to live if you can pull it off. But like, that's not what the Republican Party is. The Republican Party is more like the Coachella for the country. What's it called again? Stagecoach. Like, Democrats, it's not like a satanic concert, and Republicans are like an angelic, like churning butter event. That's what people think it is, but it's more just like Stagecoach and Coachella. It's the same thing. It's just like degenerate rap music and then country music, and everybody gets drunk. So like, that's the Republican Party. It's not like, oh, there's a bunch of men that are conservative and Christian and no, it's like you have a bunch of feminist women. You have a bunch of like fat guys who don't even take care of themselves, who just drink beer and watch sports and watch Fox News and Trump. And that's just like what the Republican Party is. It's like 90% that. And then there's like 10% traditional people. And I'm not trying to be rude about it, but it's like, it's the reason it's failing is because like the Republican Party is not what people think it is. It's like a cosplay fantasy movement where people just like wear Trump hats and hang out and drink beer and tell themselves that they're fighting the left. And it's like, it's all fake and it's all stupid. And to me, like, I know this is why I can't get as many sponsorships as I probably deserve. It's because like the way to get sponsorships is to not talk about how we just send money to foreign countries and just be like, oh, Kari Lake and Mike Lindell are great leaders. It's like, not for a single day have I ever thought that Kari Lake was like, it's like, she's a good talker. She makes good clips. Like, she's a radio host. She's very smart, but she's just another nothing, and like that's like, to me, a stress test. Like, and I know this is like it's not good for business because like probably 90% of people here like Kari Lake, but I'm not saying to hate her. It's just like if you thought Kari Lake was going to like save the party or the country, then it's like you're clearly not at the stage of anybody that's going to get anything ever. Like she's literally just a Trump suck up, like go to make money doing speeches, yelling the election was stolen. Like there's nothing of value that she does. And then when push comes to shove, she's going to do what every other Republican does, which is sell out and then push the status quo and then smear anybody else. Like I don't know. It's like people can't figure this stuff out for whatever reason. So I just got to be patient because, I just seem like annoying. Like, it's like, that's where all the money is. It's like Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, like all these people like Kari Lake and, like you got to just like pretend like they're doing something to get the money. And it's like, if you ever like, these people are not that great, then it's like, well, I guess somebody doesn't want to get paid. It's, look look what companies are running the big sponsorships on what pages. Like you can't, you can't speak accurately about any of this stuff and make that. You got to just like pretend like you don't know what's going on, but it's whatever. Someone said income tax is for war. It was. Now it's permanent. I'm going to cut this in under like an hour 20, I think. So someone said, can't stand Trump supporters after his vaccine, pushing the father of the vaccine. Indeed, big orange orangutan buffoon. I think of it like this because I want to do it. I don't want to be like Charles Barkley and be like, I want to punch people in the face. It's like, no, you don't, Charles Barkley. Stop trying to impress CNN. Like, I don't want to come across as that. But yeah, like this is what I would say. Like as a man or a woman, people like for me in my personal life, either you respect me and you don't cross my line, or you cross my line and you're kicked out of my life forever. You might not like it, but that's just how I operate, right? Because I draw a hard line. This is an extreme example, but it's an extreme example to explain what I'm saying. It would be like if there's like, say Trump or some guy walked and there's a line of 10 men and women and they walked and they spit in everyone's face and they spit in the first people's face. They just go, and then they just stand there and they smile and say, thank you, sir. And I'm whispering to the guy next to me and I'm like, why are they allowing him to spit in their face? And they go, well, that's just what we do. Like, you don't like the left. We're fighting the left. I'm like, well, what does the left have to do with him spitting in your face? They're like, but in order to beat the left, you're not allowed to say anything about this. And you have to like show your compliance to this in order to get there. And then like they spit in my face and I go, why the fuck did you just spit in my face? Don't ever spit in my face again. And you know what someone like them would do? They'd be like, oh, there's a guy who will not let us spit in his face. We're not going to spit in his face anymore because we can't. Let's spit in these other people's faces. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Exactly, Grateful Ed. That's what this is. So with the vaccine, I'm not asking people to vote for Biden. I'm not asking people to hate these people, but like they spit in your face and then they try to see what you do about it. And 90% of Republican people, including the men, they did nothing. They said, thank you, daddy. Can I have another? I'll make excuses for you, daddy. Feed me Mar-a-Lago steaks, daddy. Put me on your helicopter, daddy. I'm just as big as a sellout as John Legend. I'm just a right-wing sellout, daddy. Give me more money, daddy. I'll be the Charles Barkley of the right, daddy. So the Republican Party just keeps spitting in your face because there's no real men or real women in the party. It's like there's some, obviously a lot of people, but it's not. Like, that's my whole point for the last like couple of years. Like, oh, you're so mean. You're so bad. Oh, you don't like Trump enough. It's like, I'm a real man. I don't let other men spit in my face. Like, you're a pathetic coward. You're like a dog to Donald Trump. He dog walks you. He thinks you're an animal. You act like an animal. You bark. All I hear is bark, 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 bark. Like that's how other alpha men like a Donald Trump, they don't respect you. Why would they? You don't even respect yourself. It's like when I see a left-wing activist and he's wearing a face mask on, like I can't even hear what you're saying. Is that free Palestine? Is it free Peter? What are you saying? You have a mask on. I can't hear you because you're blocking your face like a man who's disrespecting his ancestors and can't even breathe or show his face in public. Like, it's pathetic. So, that's how, like, it wasn't about necessarily hating Trump or liking Joe Biden. It's just like, are you a real person? Do you have a spine? If you don't, Republicans just spit in your face. That's all like, why wouldn't they? It's like, you accept it. I'm considered rare because I say no, and it's like, even in my personal life, a lot of men and women, they can't handle when I draw certain lines because they're not used to it. Nobody acts that way anymore. Oh my gosh, I'm not mean. I'm the nicest person in the world, but it's like, do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. I was raised with respect, so I always try to take my shoes off when I go in someone's house. I don't care if they tell me to or not. When I walk in your house, I take my shoes off. That's just how I was raised, right? It's a respectful thing to do. I'm glad I'm that way. If you came in my house and I said, take your shoes off, and you said, I don't want to, I want to hit you. Get the fuck out of my house. What do you mean? It's not like, I could never imagine doing that to someone else. You understand? Like, imagine I go into someone's house with carpet and I have shoes on and they say, take your shoes off. And I go, I don't want to. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't ask you. I told you. And I would do it in the first place. But if someone asked, of course, I'd say, of course, this is your house. I'm going to follow your rules. I'm a respectful guy. Nobody has respect anymore. And nobody has to have respect anymore because nobody says anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So then when you like say something, now you're like the mean guy because everybody's so pathetic. And that was what COVID showed. The left is pathetic. The right is pathetic. Trump goes, and men say, that tastes like water. Like, I don't care if you have a MAGA hat. I don't care if you have a nice gun collection or, you know what I'm saying, you work out. Like, if you're a coward, you're a coward. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, how fat or skinny you are, how jacked or unfit you are. And that's what that showed me. It's like the Democratic Party folded like a fish. Their brain folded in half from the propaganda. And then Republicans are so pathetic for Donald Trump. They're like his little dog. All these men look like poodles to me. Trump dog walks you like you're like a little puppy, and it's like, all you have to do is say no. If someone spits in your face, say no. But these people can't say no. So it's like, the Republican Party, it's just open season. They'll just find they'll find Kari Lake or Mike Lindell or someone else that just says things you want to hear. And you just go, yeah. It's like, that's how I see the world. So it's like, I don't consider us a victim. Like, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just speaking accurately about what's going on. This is all deserved. And there's a whole billion-dollar industry now for Republican influencers to tell you, you deserve freedom. You deserve liberty. You deserve capitalism. You deserve the Constitution. And the truth is, you absolutely don't. One thing that I agree that, Cernovich says, although he says it in a different way than I would, but I agree with the premise of what he's saying. He's talking about how everybody says these are God-given rights, but Cernovich is like, they're not God-given rights because at any point, any human can take them away from you. And I do agree that they're God-given rights, but they're God-given and then given to you by godly men who worked hard to give them to you. And men that are not godly can take them away at any second. And it's like, at this point, they're earned. Like, George Washington didn't just wait for God and sit on the couch and eat cheesy poofs. Like, he went and got his and created a country. And now in America, like, all you have to do is say no, but nobody wants to say no. And it's like, eventually these God-given rights are going to be taken away by humans who don't believe in God if people don't like snap out of it. But it's like, it's so easy to steal things from people. It's like, just give them Donald Trump and all of a sudden their brain shuts off, like the left brain shuts off, the right brain shuts off. Oh, well, I like Donald Trump. It's like, but he printed $5 trillion, but I like him, but it's still going to inflate the currency, but I like him. Economics, 1 + 1 is 2, whether it's Trump or Biden doing it. It doesn't matter what you like. Like, are you man enough to call it out? If you're not, then you're too pathetic to have freedom and liberty. And like, it's way more popular to tell people, just watch me and buy my survival kits, and then you deserve freedom, liberty, and the Constitution, all these things. And the truth is, if you can't say no to Donald Trump, if you can't tell these people what they did is totally unacceptable and make them realize it, then you're too pathetic. You're a dog. They treat you like animals because you act like one. You know what I'm saying? If a man spits in my face, I'm going to send the message that he should never do that again. Most Republican men, they say, thank you, daddy. Can I have another? And then they keep getting hit. And they're like, did the left do that? Was it the left? It's like, no. Sometimes it's the left, but sometimes it's your own people, but you're not man enough to call it out. Like, I've been making fun of Sarah Huckabee Sanders for years now because she told everybody to go get the Trump vaccine when the compliance rates were low in the South. They deployed the controlled opposition, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, because they said, you know what? There's not enough people in the South getting the vaccine. And if enough people don't get the vaccine, how are the mandates going to work? So controlled opposition, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, came down to the South and said,
howdy, y'all. Come get the Trump vaccine. Let's get the compliance rates up for the deep state that we hired that we pretend to fight. Because if the compliance rates get high enough, then the mandates will work. And then we'll act like victims and fundraise off you stupid idiot poodles again. And you guys are like, bark, bark, bark. It's like, don't act like an animal. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to play basketball and get rebounds and be a beast, then you could be an animal. You know what I'm saying? Like a ferocious animal, but not like a poodle. And that's who they're and there's been no consequences for Trump or Sarah Huckabee Sanders for selling you out. People go, yay, she should be president. Oh, you know who should be vice president? Oh, it should be Vivek, the pharmaceutical CEO, who I didn't even know who 2 years. He should be vice president. It's like you guys are such dogs for these people. Like, it's like, you know who should be vice president, right? It should be the pharmaceutical CEO who cried on January 6th because he said nice things on a podcast within the last 6 months. He should be the next guy. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And let's go to the Barbie concert. Oh my gosh, we're front row at Taylor Swift, Trump supporters. Trump and Vivek are like Taylor Swift for a bunch of loser boomer men and a bunch of loser millennials and Gen X and Gen Z and all the generations. It's like, you guys make fun of Taylor Swift. You look like Taylor Swift fans. It's so embarrassing. So it's like, but we deserve everything. You actually don't, though. You actually don't deserve anything. You deserve exactly what's going on, which is why it's going on. Like, do I wish I would have done different things in my life to have different results? I'm pretty happy, but absolutely, I fucked up a bunch of times. Is it anyone else's fault? It's my fault. Every problem I'm facing is my fault. It's how life works. It's not like everyone else's fault all the time, but that's what Republicans will tell you. Like, you deserve these because you voted for Trump. And then people were like, voting has consequences. Look at the economy. Guys, the economy was going to be this shit even if Trump won. He printed all the money to start with. You don't even know that? It's like crazy. And I hope that Trump beats Biden, sort of, but it's just like this idea that people voted for Biden and that's why the border is wide open for damn sure. But, definitely affected that, but not the economy, really. Someone said you're out of shape. I'm in shape. I'm just standing up. It's not easy to stand up and do a whole show without like moving. When's the last time you stood up for an hour and just talked standing up? You know what I'm saying? I'm barely even breathing. Now I'm not going to stop. I'm doing like 1,000. I don't even sound like I'm breathing heavy anymore. See what I'm saying? Get it cracking. I'm in the best shape I've been in years. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to get too jacked for the gulag. I'm not going to stop till every Trump supporter and every MAGA. I'm not going to try to assault you like Charles Barkley. That's insane and borderline illegal, actually literally illegal. But I will try to wake you up because I love you. I love this country. I don't work for a foreign country. I don't have 2 passports. I work for America. I was born and raised here from a family of immigrants. We came from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Puerto Rico. Where else? Italy. Did I say that? Italy, Poland, Czech, Puerto Rico. That's it. And I want the First Amendment. I want the Second Amendment. I want a country that functions. I don't want crime. I don't want the border open. I don't want inflation. I don't want to exist so one country can send my money to one country, the other can send my money to the other country as they're calling me names. Oh, you don't want to get robbed? You must like Putin. You don't want to get robbed? You must like Hamas. No, I'm American. I'm not, no offense, but it's like, I care a lot about my country and I love the world, but change yourself to change the world. If you got crackheads outside your Capitol building, how are you going to spread prosperity to the whole world when it's not even happening here? The currency's good here, but the quality of life is going down. The quality of service is going down. The quality of airlines is going down. It's like, I'm not a big complainer, but this country is getting shittier and everyone knows it. So like, why don't we fix that? And then we could help everyone else. But we exist just to get shittier to help everyone else. Because once you figure out what's going on, the people running the country, they don't like you. They don't care about you. They're purposely doing this. It's not a mistake. They hate you. Anyway, hope you're having a good Tuesday. Someone said, I love USA from India, U.S. citizen. I love USA. Hey, all the Indians in the house. I don't care if you came from India. I don't care if you came from
Ireland. We unite. Flat earthers, globers. This is where people come together. Oh, left, right. We don't do that here. Black, white. We don't do that here, but we will talk about race because it's relevant, but we don't do that here. Oh, I like it globe. I think it's flat. We like flatty patties and globy johns. Everyone, even if you think that the shape of the earth is a string bean attached to a hot dog, you can still join this chat. But that's an odd theory, and we got to be honest that some theories are better than others. That's not a good one. Get your conspiracy theory game up. That's trash. Is it okay to enjoy baseball at least? Do not ask me what to enjoy. Enjoy life. Do not ask for my permission to enjoy baseball. I love sports. I like playing sports. I like watching sports. I just don't like all the propaganda. If you like baseball, get it. Home run, Ken Griffey Jr. Enjoy yourself. But don't let it turn you gay because they're trying to make you gay. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. Have a fun time. I thought of a funny concept. I was going to tweet it and I was like, I don't know. I tweet crazier stuff, but I was like, instead of like rejecting the gay thing, you know how like Bud Light did the tranny thing and then everyone was like, and now they're pretending to be like manly and they're, oh, we got Dana White, Peyton Manning, we're men over here. Wrong, in my opinion. I wouldn't really do this, but it's funny. It's like they should just go super gay. Instead of like hiding it, they should lean into the gay Bud Light and they should make all the Republicans do gay stuff just to see how big of sellouts they are. They're like, Dana White, why don't you put on a skirt? Peyton Manning, wear a dress and dance around with RuPaul. He's like, but I don't want to do that. They're like, for $10 million, you wouldn't do that? He's like, shit, yeah, I would. So I think that's a funnier concept than like them trying to not be gay. They're like, look how straight we are. It's like, just show everyone how big of sellouts the conservative guys are. And lean into the gay thing and just see how many of them will do gay stuff for money. I'm not saying it's good. It just would be funnier. It's like, they're like, I'm not wearing a dress, Bud Light. I'm not dancing. I'm not twerking on RuPaul. They're like, for $20 million, you're not going to twerk on a Pfizer vaccine? And they're like, for $20 million, I'll stick a Pfizer vaccine wherever you want me to stick it. And they're like, that's what I thought, Peyton. Eli, you get in here too. 20 million to your bank account. Twerk on a Pfizer vaccine. And wear a rainbow skirt. And they're like, okay, and then it's like Bud Light. Yeah, we're gay and we make you gay too. That's just an idea. If the CEO of Bud Light's watching this, we're just brainstorming, you know what I'm saying? Just a corporate meeting. It's like, instead of being like Bud Light, we're not gay, be like Bud Light, we are gay. We are so gay that we'll make all Republicans gay too. And like, there's something there, it's not good. It's not holy. It's not of the Lord, but what is in corporate America? I'm just trying to feed you guys some, really gay ideas to maybe expand your brand back. Cause I mean, like at this rate, like things might get gayer or things might flip the other way and the Lord might return. I'm not sure, but it's worth talking about at the Bud Light headquarters. It's worth a conversation. Someone said, but Kid Rock says it's okay to drink Bud Light. Dude, I mean, this crazy thing happened. I mean, I didn't like Bud Light and I shot the cans and stuff. And I was like, pow, 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 Bud Light, screw you, you're gay. But then they paid my friend Dana White $100 million. And then I was sitting next to Trump and the CEO of Bud Light's there. And I'm like, what are the chances that the CEO of Bud Light is here to lobby me and my friends? And then I went hunting with him and he's just like me. And then I'm like, what the hell are all these loser trolls boycotting Bud Light for? If they only could be rich like me and meet the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, they totally understand what I understand. I mean, what's gay about Bud Light? It's totally straight now because they paid off all my totally straight friends. It's cool, dude. Where's Anomaly? He's been replaced. He's been replaced by an artificial ChatGPT algorithm. This is the same Anomaly experience with much less hate speech. There will be no racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, conspiracy, climate denial, or anti-vaxxer material. It will be the same exact organic Anomaly experience, minus all of the things that we don't want anyone to ever say. It's nothing different about me, dude. It's the same show it's always been. Relax. Someone said clone. Listen, how long we got? We're running out of time. Under 10 minutes left. Anyway, I'm not reading that. There's a funny comment, but I'm not going to read it. Someone said you're nuts today. Well, it's the standing up energy. When I stand up, I have more energy. Like my live streams used to be crazy because I'm standing up. When you're sitting down, you're just like, my posture's different. Like I'm this crazy all the time in real life. You know what I'm saying? I dumb it down for my live stream sometimes because I'm trying to be like relatable. But you know, when I stand up, I can't. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I can move, I could groove. I'm asleep well tonight. I'm gonna go to the gym. Maybe not. When's California's last day to vote? The primaries today. I got to do research because honestly, I don't even know who I'm voting for and stuff. Someone said the skinny satanic demonic guy was talking shit about me, bro. Anybody that listens to him, like it's just so cringe. Like, can he admit that Trump printing $5 trillion led to inflation? If not, there's no conversation to have. Like, he lied about that. Any intelligent person knows that makes no sense. There's nothing to be said. If he wants to talk shit about me, I'll play him one-on-one in basketball. I'll play him one-on-one in ping pong. I'll play him one-on-one in tennis. I'll play him one-on-one in volleyball. I'll play him one-on-one in soccer. I'll box him. We'll do a celebrity boxing match, you know? I just don't feel like debating him anymore because there's nothing to talk about. I'm like, when you print money, it causes inflation. He's like, but I like Trump. So when Trump prints the money, it doesn't cause inflation. And it was just Joe Biden. And it's like, no one believes that. And it's like, apparently he's brainwashed enough people to think that makes sense, but I'm not one of them. Super Tuesday predictions. I'm like tapped out of like what's going on. Alaska's voting. What, California? Oh, is there like special elections? I don't even know. Someone said, I will tell you who spoke good about you was Andy Frisella. I mean, and here's the thing, okay? Who would you rather speak good about you? A skinny, frail toothpick who has the mark of the beast in Revelation in his username, or Andy Frisella, a strong CEO who works out and doesn't look like a piece of garbage? Like, you know, it's like, wow, the skinny satanic guy said something bad about me. Oh, shocking. You know, the devil hates me. But yeah, Andy Frisella is awesome. We're friends. I know he brought me up because he asked me a question, I answered, and he brought it up on his podcast. Yeah, he's a class act and he's a great guy. One of the best. Someone said if Tim Pool was ingesting party favors at anomaly speed, that Beanie would finally escape Ian's firmament. Bro, what? I'm on no drugs right now. The only drug, okay, I'll come clean. The only drug I did this morning was a vanilla latte. That's all. That's real. There's no drugs here. It's just how I am. Performance enhancing caffeine. That's it. Someone said Special Olympics. Are you saying if me and Styx, Hexenhammer, Satanic Symbol 666 Toothpick did a sporting event, it would be the Special Olympics? Because if you say that is actually really funny. Someone said high off life. I get to talk. I get to move. It's a good time. I got to do some jumping jacks. Some guy was giving me $20 super chats to talk about Israel. I was nervous reading them because it's like I get in enough trouble for what I actually say, even though it's not bad. I don't hate any country. I don't hate any group of people. I'm not envious. I'm not negative. It's just like I don't like when people pass laws to say that I can't say things. It's very sneaky. It's like, you know, you can't say Italians like pasta. It's like, why? Not all of them do. It's not a true stereotype, but it's not uncommon. And I'm not saying like that's equivalent to other stuff, but it's like, it's more like you're always getting shamed in America for caring about America. Like it's tiresome. And it's coming from multiple different sides. Like if you want to close the border, you're a racist. If you think women don't play sports as good as men on average. You're sexist, you're xenophobic, you're climate denier, you're anti-Semitic. Like all these labels, they're just trying to stop people from like, just like, it's like, if you don't want all your tax money to go to Elon Musk, you're a climate denier. It's like, what? It's just ridiculous. So thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you. Why do people talk about Bezmenov and the demoralization of America, then scoff at Russiagate? Wouldn't causing the question of fair elections fall in the category of demoralization? Valid thought process. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely levels to demoralization. I see. This is where I become very like I'm not unpopular in like reality. I'm unpopular in Republican circles. Like, let me get it, because I got people think I'm like complaining all the time. Like, oh, he wishes he was more popular. I've said a million times, I don't seek more fame. Like, this level is fine. I don't like getting to another level would not be pleasant. But with that being said, like people like what I'm saying, but the party doesn't, because it's like they've turned to the victim mentality. In my opinion, they do demoralize their group. Most Republicans are like, the election is going to be stolen. I'm going to vote, but it doesn't matter. And it's like, that's not even the real reason why the election doesn't matter. The real reason the election doesn't matter is because the same lobbyists and the same cabinets control Trump and Biden. That's why it doesn't matter. And if you knew that, then you could act accordingly. But it's like the Republican Party has turned into this like Trump, Kari Lake griftathon, Mike Lindell cyber symposium, 15,000 hour like study case, frankspeech.org, whatever, and then everybody is demoralized because they're just like, it doesn't, like the election's going to be, and it's like, there's no like, are we going to fix it? How are we going to change? It's just like circular, like we don't know what we're doing. We don't really have strategy, but we're going to do it. And it's like, it's exhausting. Like as much as I complain, quote unquote, about things, I'm not like exhausted by politics because I don't take it that seriously anymore. And it's made me a lot healthier. If you like believe what they're saying, you think you're like in this battle that's not real. So like when you lose that battle that's not even real, or you win and still lose, it's more exhausting than just telling the truth to yourself. Sometimes people get mad at me because they're like, what's your solution? Because they're buying so hard into that. But when you buy into that, it's like you're being lifted up and smashed into the ground. It hurts a lot worse to fall from high heights than if you're just standing here and you fall and you're like, yeah, I expected that. But if you're like, I thought we were going to beat the deep state. And like, that's why so many people are like traumatized and freaking out, because they're buying so much into people that like, they're not putting data points into their mindset, and they're just like ignoring it to make it seem like they really have a shot. So then they're like really demoralized. Like when it doesn't happen, they're like extraordinarily demoralized. Even when I made the song Way Too Jack for the Gulag, I made that song as a counter to all the people that were so depressed that Trump didn't get in the office. And I wasn't thrilled about it. I voted for Trump. But it's like, I'm not going to let Joe Biden ruin my life. Like, I got to do what I got to do. It's not ideal, but I'm not just going to roll over in a circle and quit. So I made the song Way Too Jack for the Gulag. And the whole point of that song was like, if they try to throw us in the gulags, let's get too jacked. It's a motivating and inspiring song. But Republicans, they say, just vote for me and then get really sad when I lose and throw your money at me. That's why so many Republicans are pissed off and sad all the time, because they think that they don't want to get too jacked for the gulag. They just want to like throw all their power at these politicians that don't care about them and then spiral when they don't get into office. So that's why I made that whole energy of like, let's not let this get us down. But Republicans are like, let this get us down. So then you give your money to me and put all your hope into me, which is good for my campaign. So it's like, it's very exhausting, like the cycle that these people are on, because they think that like the only solution is Trump, where I hope he wins because Biden sucks. He's not the solution. And the border alone is like like if Trump could close the border and do nothing else, that would still be somewhat of a win, but it wouldn't fix everything and things would get worse. So it's like, it's not that I want people to hate Trump or think that he's horrible. It's just like, you can't put all your faith into him or else you're done. That's kind of someone said your bars go hard in the paint. I have a new song over like a Kanye West beat, like the Carnival beat. I've been rapping it, but I want it to be really cool. So I got some new bars. I'm ready to spit them right now, but I don't want to get into it, but I kind of do, but I don't. Anyway. All right, I'm going to take off, folks. Thank you guys for being here. I just want to let you guys know real quick, if Rachel I'm not getting into specifics, but Rachel, who spent $218.63, you are the first winner of the hat. Oh my gosh, I almost knocked out my whole set. I'm going to email you within the next 24, 48 hours, and we're going to mail you the free signed beanie that was going for, I don't know, a couple $100 or something. You get that. And then I'm going to pick the other winner tomorrow. That was the biggest sale. This one's just going to be like me picking randomly. That's what I said I'll do. So thank you guys. And like the sale's been going well. Dreamrare.com. Check it out. Until everything goes, we have not that much stuff in stock. And if you want something, get it now because the next season's going to be different. And I wanted to say too, real quick, the guy who told me, he was like, oh, your email bounced or something. I found out through my email list that I wasn't doing something properly. Like I'm not into like this stuff to like, I know a lot of internet stuff, but the email thing I didn't know. You have to like register your domain with your email list, which I didn't do. So it was having a problem getting to people's things. So I did all that properly because I got suspended by my email campaign. They were like, we suspended you. I was like, what did I do? It wasn't on purpose. I just didn't register something I was supposed to register. So it wasn't lining up right. So I figured all that stuff out. Thank you for the heads up and appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Let me know what you think in the comment sections. I'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, let me know what you think about Charles Barkley just disappointing us. I like Charles, man. He was one of my favorites. It sucks. Now I just got Kyrie Irving, Aaron Rodgers, and that one new prospect who says that he thinks that space is fake. You know, that's all we got now.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded,